depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love. Thank you guys. And now I'd like to introduce Megan Baltouch.
Hi, my name is Megan Baluch, and I am a student at Trinity Catholic High School. Today I'm going to speak about gun violence in schools. Today's high schoolers aren't Generation Z or the iPhone generation. We're the Columbine generation. Instead of hiding under school desks for bomb drills like our parents, we grew up cowering behind desks during lockdown drills, fearing for our lives since we were 5 or 6 years old. The fear brought about by Columbine has been exacerbated by each consecutive school shooting, and in the nearly 20 years since, nothing has changed. People often say that children are our greatest resource, but current legislation says otherwise. It says that guns are our greatest resource. Why else would the sale of military-grade assault rifles be prioritized over the safety of children? After the Parkland shooting and the subsequent March for Our Lives movement, people at schools throughout Stamford and throughout the country wanted to do their part to make a difference. Stamford High and West Hill facilitated their students' political involvement and helped to ensure the security of their students during walkouts. My school, Trinity Catholic, had a different approach and organized a rosary walk to honor the victims of the Parkland shooting at the same time that schools across the country participated in walkouts. I felt like we could do more by making a statement about gun control. As a result, I decided to assist Grace Curley Holmes in organizing a student-led walkout at Trinity. We felt like it was the only way to fully honor the victims of the Parkland shooting. We built a small group of girls and successfully walked out. We made the statement that we had wanted to make. We faced criticism from peers who claimed that we hadn't accomplished anything. I completely disagree. There have been over 300 school shootings in America since 2013. Columbine no longer ranks among the top 10 deadliest shootings. Our walkout, which took place at 2:15 on March 14th, wasn't meant to immediately change the world. It was our contribution to a larger movement, our way of demanding change. The votes and lobbying of pro-gun groups have been used to silence those who cannot vote for far too long. Someone's deluded desire to own a powerful killing machine should not outrank the lives of children and teenagers across the United States. Today, we say enough is enough. Today, we march for our lives! Up next is Nick Chuckus.
Just this year, 3,165 people in the United States alone have been killed as a result of gun violence. Hi, my name is Nicholas Chuckus and I'm a junior at AIT, and I'd like to start off by asking all of you to take a moment and put yourselves in the shoes of a victim of gun violence. Step into the life of one of those 3,165 people. You live a normal life. Maybe you have a family, a couple kids, a good job. Or maybe you're a student with your entire life ahead of you. And in a moment, and in an instant, all that's gone. Your family left to cope. Your kids left fatherless or motherless. Your life stripped from you. Everyone and everything you were, gone. You were killed, shot, for no reason at all. How would you feel? What would you do if you knew this was going to happen to you? A lot of times we disregard the fact that this could happen to us. These victims didn't choose to be shot. They didn't want to be killed. They just left their home one day and they never returned. Why is this acceptable? Why is this being allowed to continue? It doesn't make sense. 96 people a day. 3,165 people in less than 3 months. Yet, people still back the availability of weapons like AR-15s and M50s. This is blasphemy. No one in their right mind needs to carry an assault weapon with the capability to tear through human flesh like tissue paper. I understand that banning guns entirely would be nearly impossible, but realistic change can happen. After all, why is an AR-15 or an M50 needed to engage in recreational activities or self-defense? It's not. There's a distinction between simple handguns and these weapons. Bullets from assault weapons are shot at triple the velocity, creating 9 times the energy and 9 times the power, making the weapon 9 times as deadly. These weapons are used to kill. We have the ability to end the violence. Even the smallest change can bring that number of 3,165 closer and closer to zero, right where it should be. We can be the change we want to see in the world. Now, before I go, I just want to leave you all with one thing to think about. What would you do if you knew that you were going to be the next victim? Would you do nothing? Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Catherine Massa.
Hello, my name is Catherine Massa. I'm a junior from the Academy of Information Technology and Engineering, and I want to start off with a quote. There are guns that are made to protect you and your family from anyone who may come in and try to hurt them. And there are guns that are made for war. Those were the words of Cameron Caskey, one of the survivors of the Parkland school shooting. It seems like commonplace to hear that gun control advocates want to ban all of America's guns, which is a clear violation of the Second Amendment. But that is not what we are here to do today. Sorry. As Caskey put it, some guns are good and can be used to protect not only your loved ones, but your rights as Americans. Where we draw the line is with the laws regarding weapons in this country. Some weapons, such as assault rifles, are only good for war. Quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. These are the words of the Second Amendment. When people summarize it, they always seem to paraphrase the second half, the right to bear arms. But what about the first bit, a well-regulated militia? The words are right there in the Founding Fathers' writing. Infringement is not... The words are right there. Regulation is not an infringement of the Second Amendment. It's a part of it. So I ask, why has no progress been made? 17 people are dead in Florida, 14 of them students. 24 people died during the Sandy Hook school shooting, 20 of them elementary school-aged children. 12 are dead from the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. 49 people are dead in Orlando nightclub shooting. 58 are dead in Vegas, not counting either of those gunmen. Going all the way back to what is regarded as the first shooting in this nightmare, 13 victims killed during Columbine. I only mentioned a few events, and yet the death count already hit 173 people, all of them gone forever. Why have we allowed this to continue? Why, as students, must we consider where we will go in the event of a shooting? Why do we have to live like this? We're so young, we're the future of the country. We all call America home, so why won't our country protect us? I want to conclude with a plea to Congress to protect the children and the youth in our country. A plea that we don't have to fear being shot at school, and a fear that we don't have to be shot in a crowd. In Florida, an AR-15 assault rifle was used. That weapon is so powerful, dare I say, too powerful. Its job is to kill. I make a plea to Congress, and I ask to keep weapons that powerful away from madmen. I ask they do a better job screening people before they can purchase a weapon like that. He had 911 calls made on him. He had posted that he wanted to shoot up the school. I ask that bump stocks can no longer be easily purchased so that already deadly weapons become weapons of mass destruction. I plead that Congress will hear our cry, hear us mourn our lost peers, and fix the problem at the source. Thank you. I now want to call up Shira Tarantino.
Thanks, Catherine. Before I begin, I just wanted to remind everybody to please text the word MARCH to 64433. You'll be able to get action alerts and learn more about what you can do after you leave this march, because this march is not self-contained. You will take this information with you and take action. Please also visit our voter registration table. It's close to the entrance when you walked in on the right-hand side as you're leaving. Please, if you are not registered to vote, please do so. And please, vote gun safety. My name is Shira Tarantino. I'm one of the 13 founding mothers of the Enough campaign. 5 years ago, after the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting, where 20 first graders and 6 educators were shot and killed in their classrooms, friends, strangers, and I got together and said, enough! The tragedy in Newtown was a wake-up call for me, and that was my personal entry point into gun violence prevention. but everyone has a different entry point. For some, it might be a very public mass shooting. For others, it might be a very private domestic violence situation, or a suicide, or an accident. And even still, others have yet to see the light. Tragically, some kids don't have just one entry point. Many children across America live with the fear of gun violence every single day. Gun violence for some kids isn't just an isolated incident. Whether these kids live in an area where gun violence is more prevalent, or whether they're in a school district which mandates lockdowns and active shooter drills, our kids are sick of living in fear. And fear is the fuel of the gun industry. But the antidote to fear? Get involved in your community. Connect with others. Get to know your neighbors. Volunteer at a nonprofit. When we make lasting connections in our community, we have more productive conversations, which lead to compromise in favor of everyone's best interests. Imagine that. If Congress can't do it from the top down, then we'll do it from the bottom up. If we can work together to end this deadly culture of fear and ignorance, we can disarm hate. I'm very honored to introduce to you one of today's youngest student speakers. I met her through community service. CLTI Class of 2017 graduate and CPEP and Parent C Child Care Junior Teacher, Sophia Dupree.
Hi, my name is Sophia Dupree, and I'm an 8th grader at Vermont Middle School. Lockdown. Teachers, staff, and students, we are now in a lockdown. A traditional lockdown consists of lights off, blinds down, and the door locked. Rushed in the corner and asked to be quiet. Having a solid 8 years of practice with lockdown drills, have we forgotten about cafeterias, hallways, gyms, and the bathrooms? In that situation, what would I do? Where would I go? Who would help me? Why? Why wasn't I ever taught what to do? Despite the fact that we are accustomed to lockdowns, they're not working. Columbine, Red Lake, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Parkland. Some of our leaders are more focused on their self-worth than my safety. You base my self-worth on my S-Box and Common Core, but left my safety in the hands of the NRA. We can't pass legislation that would limit improper access to guns. You can't ensure my safety in elementary, middle school, high school, or college because our leaders are accustomed to school shootings. The absence of a solution or collective will. You're treating active killers like bad weather that is an act of God instead of failures by Congress. Moral courage to make a difference is found in a leader. I encourage you to stop being a follower and find a solution. Hidden in the corner and silent is not the way I should die. Teachers, staff, and students, the lockdown drill is over. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce William Ramsey.
Hello, my name is William Ramsey. I'm a junior at AITE. And as a student, I would like to thank all of you for coming out and raising my While I do not have a written speech, I do have the statements from both Richard. There we go. Oh, even better. I do have written statements from both Richard, our senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy. From Richard Blumenthal. Dear friends, I regret that I am unable to be with you today. I have been inspired by the millions of students who have participated in demonstrations, including walkouts, gatherings, and readings of the Parkland victims' names. I feel we are closer in this movement than we have ever been to meaningful gun violence prevention. That is thanks to the energy, passion, and dedication of people like you. While our journey will include moments and days of frustration and setback, we must remain focused and energized on the ultimate goals. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Every significant movement in American history has been powered and driven by young people demanding action and rejecting the status quo, including civil rights, anti-war, women's rights, and marriage equality. Today, young people are leading the movement towards common sense measures and to prevent gun violence, like requiring universal background checks, banning assault weapons, and sales of high-capacity magazines, enabling emergency risk or red flag protection orders, and providing school safety and mental health care. We are making a difference. We will make a difference. Sincerely, Richard Blumenthal, United States Senator of Connecticut. Next is a statement from U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. 96 people in this country die every single day from gun violence, a rate higher than any other industrialized nation in the world. Most politicians only pay attention when the mass tragedies happen, like Sandy Hook and Parkland. But the gun violence epidemic doesn't take a day off. For kids in places like Hartford, Bridgeport, and New Haven, they live it every day. This is a uniquely American problem. And it's not because we have more mental illness in this country. We don't. It's not because our schools are less secure. They are. They're not less secure, my bad. It's not because we spend less money on law enforcement. We don't. It's because it's an incredibly easy and for dangerous people to get dangerous weapons, and because Congress refuses to do anything about it. Thank you to everyone who's speaking out and marching today. Whether you support universal background checks, banning certain types of weapons, or want to have a conversation about how to address social isolation, or all of that and more, there's a place for you in this discussion. Stick with it, because it's going to be advocates like you and us who lead the way. I'll be here to partner with you in any way that I can. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. Thank you, everyone. I would like to introduce Kara Pavlock.
I am Kara Pavlock, Congressman Himes' District Director. For those of you who follow him on Twitter, you'll know that he is not here today because he is marching with your neighbors and classmates and teachers in Washington, D.C. Frankly, it feels a little bit awkward and it's infuriating to stand here as a representative of the institution who has the power to change our laws, but has been silent and refused to even bring gun reform bills to the floor of the House of Representatives. However, what is happening here today is not a moment, it is a movement. We are slowly seeing change. Last week in the spending bill, provisions were included to fix the NICS system, closing loopholes in our background check systems. There were also changes to the Dickey Amendment so that the CDC can finally research the effects of gun violence. Movements across our history have always been long and hard fought. Women's suffrage and civil rights took hope, commitment, and dedication, and this movement will be no different. There will be wins and there will be losses, but know that Congressman Himes, myself, and our staff will be with you every step of the way. We are in this with you for the long haul. After today's songs and cheers and march, it is imperative to keep working. Keep calling, keep organizing, keep educating, and remember November 6th, because the only thing louder than your voices is going to be your vote. Thank you. And I'd like to welcome Isaac Brad.
Today, I'm going to be reading a message between a student and his father during Parkland. We are in a real cold red, Dad. Get me ASAP. I hear gunshots. We just got a code red notification, so get me ASAP. There are gunshots in my school. Hell, someone just died. Come now. How much longer is it going to take for us to stop this? How many more children are we going to lose? How much longer? That's the big question. And that's why we are here as a community, as a country, to stand up and take action. If Trump doesn't make America great again, we're going to make America great again. I stand with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And the next speaker will be Julia Wallace.
So, good morning. My name is. Oh my God, it's windy. Okay. Good morning. My name is Julia Wallace, and I'm a junior at AITE. Thank you. And I'm here to speak to the people who disagree. The people who think that this march is stupid or that gun control is unnecessary. This is obviously a very emotional topic. People generally want to feel safe, and obviously many are rightfully concerned over their safety and the safety of their children. No parent should be scared of sending their child to school, nor should any student fear going to school. There have been way too many unjust situations that could have been avoided with greater gun control. But I think that point has been and continues to be expressed by angry parents and students and teachers all across the nation much more eloquently than I am capable of doing, so I brought some numbers. So, number one. The gun lobby claims that guns are mainly used in the United States for defensive purposes. However, a 2013 study proved that for every one justifiable homicide involving a gun in the United States, there are 44 criminal homicides involving a gun. Number two, unintentional firearm injuries cause the death of 606 people every year. 8% of these shootings are carried out by children under the age of 6, and 31% of them could have been prevented through increased education and regulations for households containing firearms. Number three, let's talk economics. The total annual cost of gun violence in the United States is $229 billion, and that comes straight out of taxpayers' money. The gun violence cost per state is also directly proportionate to the state's gun laws. States that have less gun control pay more for the consequences of gun violence, and states with increased gun control